Welcome back to episode 2. Nice.
Singing it,
Nice.
you know.
Right, Lauren, what are we doing today?
Today we are going to be ranking the mashups that Taylor Swift did. Well, we're giving our top 10 of the mashups she did in the UK and Ireland.
Shout out to Dublin.
Shout out to Dublin. We also will have an honourable mention each. We've done it separately, by the way. We're comparing rankings.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have an honourable mention each, and then we're going to say what we think was the best night overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. We feel we should give you some context.
Yes.
Also, we do this is a big part of our friendship is Taylor Swift, obviously.
It is.
But we have done this for months. Like, I think since Christmas time, we've inspired by our friends in Australia, Bonnie and Emily, who are major Swifties, who have videos on YouTube. So, yeah, basically we're copying their idea.
We are. Womp womp.
Womp womp. Where we sit and rank things, basically. But what's good about it is you can just sit and go through the discography and just appreciate songs a bit more that maybe you hadn't before.
Yeah. Gives you a chance to really read into things, see other people's opinions.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
And some context for the mashups.
Yeah.
On the Eras tour.
Yeah. So, first of all, if you're unaware, Taylor Swift is on tour. And it's called the Eras Tour.
And it's all the eras of her music career. Each album is an era, and she performs all of them except from debut.
Yep.
On the tour. Sorry to hear that debut.
And this tour has started since March 2023.
Yes.
And is still ongoing.
Finishing in December.
And on her show, she has a surprise set where she basically surprise. I'm going to sing a song where it's songs that are not on the set list that she surprises the audience with, and she sings them, one on the guitar and one on the piano. However, in February, she used to have a rule where she would play one song once. So she was like, oh, I'll sing this song from whatever. Forgets all Taylor Swift songs. And she won't repeat it. And then
unless
she
made a mistake. That was her initial rule.
And then she was kind of like, I'm going to scrap that. And then she started repeating songs. And then she went, oh, I'm going to scrap that again. And thought, I'm going to start mashing up songs. So she's like created new songs by combining 2 or 3 on the guitar and on the piano. So you can leave that night and you've heard 4 more songs. Potentially 5.
So crazy!
So I hope that gives context as to what the surprise mashups are.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the start of the year she started mashups. There's something else I was going to say, but I forgot.
We also attended the Eras tour together.
Yes, we did!
We met Scott Swift.
We did. I feel like we should save all this for
another episode.
Another episode where we'll speak specifically about... We also went with other people. Shout out to my mum and Hannah. Yeah. And that random girl that I've got a photo with.
But yeah.
But we'll... Yeah, there's a lot to say.
Yeah, so we might be biased towards some of the nights that we attended.
Oh, yeah. And
massively biased, unfortunately for me.
Oh, I'm massively biased. And they're just songs that are my favourite songs.
Yes.
And also, we've just picked the UK and Ireland because if we did every single one, we would be here for a long time.
There's so many songs.
Right, I think I should just get into it, Lauren.
Yeah, let's go.
What is your honourable mention mashup?
My honourable mention is All of the Girls You Loved Before with Crazier in Edinburgh Night 2.
Okay.
Should we say them both and then explain?
Okay. My honourable mention. So these are ones that just... Honourable mention is just something that's iconic.
Yeah, but it just didn't quite hit the top 10.
Yeah, it's not in the top 10. Mine's This Is What You Came For, mashed up with Gold Rush.
Nice.
And I said this to you before.
Yes.
But I'll let you explain first and then I'll explain.
Mine, the reason... So, Crazier, again, is another song. As I was saying about my favourite song, Safe and Sound, it's not on an album. So, it's for the Hannah Montana movie. And it's such an iconic song. But at this point, we didn't know if we were going to get songs like Crazier. Like, if she was ever going to perform that. Because it's also really early on in her discography. So it was kind of a wild card for her to perform. And I fucking love that song. I also really hope it gets re-recorded and it gets put on debut. or just gets re-recorded and released as another single. I don't mind, but the reason it's not... that's so warm. I just spilled my water for context. That's fine.
She spilled
It'll
it.
dry.
Oh.
Where was I going? Yeah, the reason it's an honourable mention and not in the top 10 is because I do love All the Girls You Loved Before, and that was a similar situation.
I associate that song with you.
Yeah, it was a similar situation where it got released, like it wasn't on the Lover album, but it was written around that time, and then it got released later on, along with when she did the re-records of Safe and Sound, and what else was it? If This Was a Movie, and the other one for the Hungry... Eyes Open.
Eyes Open.
But as much as I love that song, it's not like one of my favourites. I'd have preferred Just Crazier on its own, I think. But the Just Crazier being there, it has to be mentioned, because that's crazy.
I'm going to refrain myself if I do get to that song and explain my reasons. So I'm trying to... Yeah, you're going right then. Which is hard to do because I really want to talk. Okay. My honourable mention was This Is What You Came For, mashed up with Gold Rush.
Nice.
Which I believe was Liverpool night 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it was night 2. Might have been night 1. Can't remember.
I think it was night 2.
And the reason why it's... I mean, it could have been in my top 10, but I just think it was just the most iconic thing she's ever done.
Yeah.
Again, she had done Crazier, so Liverpool location was after Edinburgh. Yeah. And that's when she opened up the ball game of like, I'm going to sing songs that I've done that are not on my album, they're for other projects. And then she went, actually, you know the song, actually listeners probably don't know this, the song This Is What You Came For, as in the Calvin Harris song with Rihanna on it, Taylor Swift wrote that song. So she went, actually, I'm going to sing songs that I've wrote that aren't even like mine with my voice on it. I remember sitting on the train, watching the live stream after work, going between messaging you and watching this and going, oh my god.
That is crazy.
So in my little notes that I've wrote is that she gagged us all.
She did. She did.
She really had her jaws to the floor and went, oh my god, I'm going to shock you. And I also, personally for me, Gold Rush is a song from the Evermore album, is one of my top songs from that album. And I put this as an honourable mention because at first I had to think, why have you combined these two songs? Because she could have just done the Calvin Harris song, and everyone would have been so happy. And I think a lot of people in the audience would have been like, why is she singing this song? And not realising she wrote it. But I wrote in my little notes that the parallels between these two songs and the references of everybody watching her, because she's looking at you, ooh, ooh. She could be talking about all the eyes are on her, or all the eyes are on this other girl, or like him. And Gold Rush, the song, look, I'm not an expert, but this is my interpretation, is the idea of, I think the song's all about jealousy and people flocking to the person she likes.
Yes.
Because I think it references the mines and the gold rush during the mining era. I don't know. I don't really know my history. But people would flock to gold after it, and that's why it was called like the gold rush in the mines. So she's comparing that person to gold, like everyone's flocking. Yeah. I don't like a gold rush. I don't like anticipating my face getting embarrassed or flustered that other people like you're feeling jealous. And then she's going, and everyone looking at you. So I think there's so many parallels between those two songs. And they're just two iconic songs.
They really are.
And I just had it in my honourable mention because I was really shocked that she did Calvin Harris.
Yeah. Yeah, I was taken aback.
I was taken aback, Taylor Swift. Sorry. And she sang the majority of that song as well. And then was like, I'm not finished. Yeah.
Here's a bit of Gold Rush. Nice.
I'm conscious of how much I chat about the song, so I'm trying not to.
No, you go.
Go on about it.
Number 10.
Okay.
I've got Tis Damn Season and Daylight from Edinburgh Night 1. It's just so illegal.
It's so illegal.
It's so illegal. Tis Damn Season is one of my favourite songs from Evermore. And Daylight is one of my favourite songs from Lover. Daylight's like one of my favourite Taylor Swift songs ever. Also, just her doing that, because she did that in Edinburgh because it was the first time the surprise songs were going to be in daylight. Like, it wasn't going to be when it had all got dark. And that is just the most beautiful thing ever. And Jen was there.
I was there. That's why I can't talk about it because it might be on my list. But we might get to it later.
Yeah, I really don't know how much it's just illegal to me that she did those two together.
Thought of you when she went into Daylight. I went, oh my god.
You sent me a video and it's you Laura Ryder. I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
But yeah, to be honest, I haven't gone into the themes of those two songs. But I kind of don't... I could be wrong here. But I don't think they match massively.
I think also sometimes she might not even match on themes. She's just like, I'm going to just sing these two songs.
Because they're so bloody good.
And it might just be what the people want to hear.
And it is what the people want to hear.
It's what the people want to hear.
You can call it either. You can call it babe for the weekend. Days and dances. Okay. And then Daylight. I love it.
I just refraining myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
My number 10... You might kill me for this.
Okay.
Is the 1989 mashup.
I won't kill you for it.
Like, do you know what? It's at my lowest in my top 10. However, it did still make my list.
Yeah, that's so true.
My only reason is just because we were both there. Not together, but we were both there. And it's... So when I mean 1989 mashup, London Night 3 on the piano, she sang Out of the Woods, Is It Over Now, and Clean, which are all songs from 1989. Is It Over Now is from the Vault track, but maybe we'll explain that a different day.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll explain the
vaults.
vaults.
Any other vaults.
We'll explain what vaults are another day.
Yeah.
But basically, I put it at 10 because I could have predicted she'd done this. Apart from putting Clean at the end.
Yes.
I knew the minute she sang Out of the Woods, she was going to do Is It Over Now.
Yes.
However, she's done it before, by the way. But she's done it the other way around. And on the guitar.
Yes.
Not on the piano, I think. And those two songs are actually about the same... They're like sister songs.
Yes.
They're like the same story or the same experience and reference and call to one another. So they match, which makes sense why she did it. And then she put Clean at the end. And it's a song about her just speaking about, like, I'm clean of you.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm better now.
Come within a trace of you and I think I'm finally clean.
That's my number 10. I've got nothing more to say. I just ranked others higher.
That's fair play. That's okay. I'll accept it. I also wonder if we have any at the same place.
I feel like we could have some that are similar, but not the exact same number.
Cool. Right. My number 9, I've got I Hate It Here and the Lakes from Cardiff. She only did one show in Cardiff.
Shout out to Wales.
Shout out to Wales. I think this is one of the most, like, perfect mashups she's ever done.
Me too.
The reason it's not higher on my list is because there's like songs that are more personal to me that are higher up.
Yeah.
But when she did I Hate It Here, so Take Me to the Lakes. Like, the lakes is where she goes to escape. Mm-hmm. And I Hate It Here, she's talking about hating it somewhere. I can't relate. So it's just that specific. When she went, I hate it here, so take me to the lakes. And I went, ah! I just think that's... Also, we'd all been waiting for the lakes to come. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone thought it was going to happen in Edinburgh, and then they thought it was going to happen in Liverpool, so...
Yeah, I personally... The lakes is my go-to on the train home to Glasgow song when I'm going through
the lakes.
I'm, like, looking at the window, like, yeah, the lakes, where the poets went to die, I don't belong.
Do you?
Yeah. I hate it here because that's from Tortured Poets, and everyone wants a Tortured Poets song, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we all want older songs, but I think it's more exciting when she sang
because it's new.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I just think it's thematically, is that how you say that word? One of her best mashups. It feels like they're two songs that are meant to be mashed up together.
Yeah, it's on my list, but not yet.
Not yet.
So my number 9 is from Edinburgh Night 3 on the piano, Haunted, mashed up with Exile.
Oh my god, I missed that one off.
It was a lot. Anyway,
this is really wet. Anyway.
So again, this is one she'd done before, I think in Australia, from my memory.
Yeah,
of Chats and Reacts, Emily and Bonnie were there.
Yeah, they were, because it was the night they nearly weren't at, because she did Haunted and Emily had an episode.
She had a little.
She did a
little
bit.
I just think... So I'm just going to write what's in my notes. Also, Haunted was one of my favourite songs when I was younger.
Yes.
And Exile, again, is one of my favourite songs from Folklore. And it's just... I just love that she just mashes up from different albums.
Yeah.
Like, also... Yeah, I'm not going to go back. I'm going to keep going. Never mind. I think what I wrote in my notes... she mashes up the perfect place of thinking... Oh, it's when she did the mashup. Because she was going, come on, don't leave me like this. You think she's about to go into like this. But then she goes, I think I've seen this film before. And I wrote that Exile itself is a haunting song.
It is.
So that she's put it with haunted. It's like, oh my God. And the echoes in the Exile, like the back and forth, like the calling. I know that you read my mind.
Which is normally Bon Iver's part. And then she...
I gave so... They're just haunting.
Yeah.
And the way... What have I wrote? Don't leave me like this, but I've stepped out the side door. So he's like left anyway. She's like begging him not to leave and he's done it
He's gone.
anyway. And I think the film references in Exile, like the whole memory of it, playing it back like a film, is haunting. Again,
I agree.
Just like memories being replayed are quite haunting to live in your brain.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
I agree. I'm also really mad at myself because that has not made it onto my list and it definitely should have, and I just have looked past it. What are we on? Number 8?
8, yeah.
Cool. Number 8, I have The Bolter and Getaway Car from Edinburgh Night 2.
Okay.
2, so this is where we're getting to all my favourite songs are happening now.
Okay.
Bolter and Getaway Car are 2 of my favourite songs.
Mm-hmm.
I also think they're just both, again, she's just, like, it's so simple, but she's so clever because they're both about bolting. Like, the bolter is the person that bolts. And Getaway Car, they're escaping. She's bolting.
She's bolting in the car.
She is bolting in the car. And I just love the bolter. Again, it makes sense to put together because she's escaping from both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Getaway Car. And I remember that day as well, we'd been walking over the bridge and I'd said I really would like the bolter when she comes to London, and then sit down on the train, South Western Railway took me away and she's done singing it. And I went, oh, cool, thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor.
I wanted that song, but fine.
And that's interesting because that was on the guitar, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think a lot of my top 10 is actually on the piano. Which is a big fat lie because the next one's on the guitar.
Yeah, and that was the same night as all the Girls You Loved Before and Crazier, which is crazy to me that happened.
I'll get to it when I get to it. Okay, my number 8 is, again, I'm deeply biased because these are 2 of my favourite songs, is I Can See You mashed up with mine.
Yeah, fair.
Also, they're 2 songs from Speak Now.
Yeah.
She doesn't really, as much as I was saying, oh, I love it, she's mashed up from different albums, she doesn't ever mash up from the same album.
She doesn't.
And one's, mine is from the actual album, and I Can See You is from the Vault track.
Yes.
Which is basically the Vault track's like when she re-released the album, but we'll do that different time. Yeah. So come back, be here. And they're just 2, like mine. Oh, I loved that song when I was younger, and I still do.
Yeah.
And then I Can See You is just. Oh, she's a bit like.
It's a bit.
She's a bit raunchy. She's not raunchy, but she's just like, I can see you up against the wall with me.
Yeah.
Come on now. All right,
Taylor. Keep it in your pants.
What have I wrote in my little notes? I feel the vaults have a personal touch because they sound like real stories, but Speak Now, from my understanding, is like fairy tales made up.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that she made it a real story.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying.
I know
here.
what you mean.
Yeah, this is only one of 2 guitars in my top 10. So there's 2 guitars that I picked. The rest were all piano.
I'm trying to see what...
I've wrote, fucking love these songs. I Can See You feels really real to me as an adult, and the intensity of liking someone, and mine reminds me of being like 12 and just loving the idea of a fairy tale. That's what I meant to say from my other point.
I understand.
And then just when she was doing the mashup, she iconically was going... She's singing I Can See You first, and she was going, I. And then it goes into mine, which is, And she blended them two so smoothly. From one to the next. I said I don't know if these songs have an integrated story, but they go together sonically.
Yes.
It's like this entire time she's like, I can see you, but now you're mine. Sings the bridge of Mine. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm going to say. I love that song so much.
Oh, that's so slay. Number 7.
Number 7.
Number 7, I have Clara Bow and The Lucky One from Dublin. Night.
Oh, sorry.
right slap.
Me too. Sorry, we should put a trigger warning for loud noises.
Yeah.
That's my number 72.
Then we can cut it
We
together.
can talk about it together. Sorry, I had a delayed reaction when you said that. I was like, oh yeah, that's mine too.
Same, like, a perfect mashup to put together.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've said that about a couple, but Clara Bow is like the older version of the Lucky One. Like, it's the Lucky One is from Red and Clara Bow is from Tortured Poets. And yeah, Lucky One is all about coming to fame.
Yep.
And Clara Bow is when it's the song that talks about Stevie Nicks. People don't maybe know it from that.
And who was in the audience that night? Stevie Nicks. And she sang it for Stevie Nicks.
She did.
Yeah, that's what I wrote as well, is that Clara Bow and Lucky One both refer to fame. In the spotlight, Clara Bow talks about, like, I guess, the it girls at the time.
Yes.
And that how people then, like, they're celebrated
until they're referred back
to someone else.
Yeah.
Or, like, the new person on the scene gets referred back to the older person. So, like, in the song, she says, "You look like Clara Bow," who's, like, a famous actress. And then, like, the second verse, she speaks, "Oh, you look like Stevie Nicks."
Yes.
And then in the last verse, she's, like, speaking about the next it girls being compared to Taylor Swift. But not in a way like Taylor being like, "Oh, you can be like me."
Yeah.
Taylor's actually, like, degrading herself and
Yes.
saying, "You've got," like, she says, "You look like Taylor Swift. You've got edge she never did."
Yeah.
And just how all the females constantly in Hollywood are being compared to the last one.
And they can never win.
And then Lucky One's, like, it's Hollywood, but it's, like, being perceived as a lucky one. And,
Yes.
and being like, "Oh, you've got the big lights, you've got everything you've ever wanted." And it's true that Taylor Swift wanted that.
Yeah.
But it isn't all that it's made out to be.
Yes, I would
Just
agree.
like they say in Clara Bow. And that's my second guitar song that I picked. Yeah, I think just the context of the night and that Stevie Nicks in the audience, and she says a line that says her name,
Yeah.
and she's right there.
She says Stevie Nicks' name and she says Taylor Swift's name, which is crazy for Taylor Swift to say Taylor Swift in a Taylor Swift song. Like, that blew my mind.
I agree.
Slay.
Oh, I'm so glad we had the same
Me
one.
too.
But yeah, they're just perfect, those songs together, because they're both about the same thing.
Yeah, everyone associated them together. Like, it was a mashup that everyone knew was coming at some point. I feel.
Yeah.
Because of how well they match each other. And they talk about the same thing.
I agree.
Cool. Number 6.
Number 6.
I've got The Great War and You're Losing Me.
Okay.
From Liverpool Night 2. The reason this one's not higher is because I get very biased from this point up. But I remember sitting in my lounge and having this on the telly and her starting The Great War and being like, "No!" And then her starting You're Losing Me. You're Losing Me. So The Great War and You're Losing Me are both from Midnight.
Yeah.
But
fathoming right now.
Fathoming right this second. But You're Losing Me it was released later than everything else. So she did Midnight. So she did Midnight's 3am edition, and then she did something else. And then did You're Losing Me? It Hits Different come at the same time.
Yeah, because they were both
Roughly.
on, like, CDs.
Yes.
In Target, which none of us have access to.
No.
Come on,
So
bargains.
You're Losing Me came out, and this was also as everyone was fathoming that her and she was like, "Come on, Home Pockets." It was as everyone had started to fathom that her and Joe had broken up. Joe Alwyn, who was her long-term boyfriend for 6 years.
I would
Roughly.
highly recommend to the listeners. I was about to say the listeners. The listeners, because You're Losing Me, to listen to You're Losing Me.
Yeah.
It is, for Taylor Swift to write what she wrote is deeply vulnerable, and I respect it a lot.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking in a way that many songs try to be and aren't. And then The Great War is about, like, fighting within a relationship. You're fighting the Great War. But they lost because you're losing me. Stop. And it's simply the most heartbreaking
It's so sad.
mashup she could have ever done. And also, I think You're Losing Me, she had played it in Australia, but I wasn't convinced it was going to be a song she would play multiple times because of how vulnerable it is.
Me neither.
So, her playing it again and her playing it with The Great War was just insane. It was superior, it was insane. And I was well and truly gagged by it.
Okay.
You're number 6.
My number 6 is I Hate It Here, mashed up with the Lakes.
Fair play.
Torture Poets mashed up with Folklore. Literally everything you said, and just that she's just wanting to basically escape to the lakes.
Yeah.
I Hate It Here is also one of my favourite songs from Torture Poets, because it's all about just like her reality sucks, so she's escaping. The song, I believe, is she's escaping into her mind and her imaginations and her disassociation from the world.
Gardens
in my mind. And then she's now mashing up with the lakes to be like, actually, I want to escape to a physical different location, which is the lakes. And it matches Torture Poets so well, because in the song, she says, obviously, where all the poets went to die. And she says in the Long Pond sessions that all poets, can't think of any names of any poets, but went to the Lake District, the lakes, as a place to escape from just everything in life. I don't know if it was the fame or whatever, or just the hardships. Also just to go to a place that's quite inspiring and in nature.
Yes.
I'm just like, oh my god, you are a torture poet and you're wanting to go with the rest of the poets to the lakes. Like she just starts, like the start of I Hate It Here is like, quick, tell me something awful, like you are a poet. And then just using the I Hate It Here, speaking of a relationship or fame. It's just the beauty of going to the lakes. I'd be like, same Taylor.
Me too, if I could escape to the lakes.
Part of me would maybe want to put it higher up, because I do like those songs, but I think it's fine where it is, because other songs are deeply offensive.
It gets so deeply offensive.
And just the way she like escaped to gardens in my mind. She's gone to a literal garden, a big fat garden, which is the green trees of the greenery of the Lake District. Anyway,
big fat garden.
Big fat garden. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Death by a Thousand Cuts with Getaway Car from London 8, which we simply attended.
And it wasn't just you explain
it wasn't just that. She also brought out Jack Antonoff on stage, who Jack and Taylor are besties, and he works on a lot of her stuff with her. I think 1989 was the first album they worked on together. And she brought him out, and immediately we knew something was going down. And she was probably going to play Getaway Car. They also did the bit in Getaway Car, which is a video from when they were filming, they were writing the song together, and they're writing the bridge, and they're like, isn't Getaway Car, and you're... And they just did the whole bit, and it was just incredible. The vibes of London Night 8 were insane. I also love Death by a Thousand Cuts. I forgot how much. Just something took over me and she started to play that song.
If you want the video footage, that'll be £30 to my sort code. My sort code, my account number and sort code I'll give you.
To the Patreon. Because she did also play Death by a Thousand Cuts the first night of London with Hits Different, and I was toying it up because I love Hits Different as a song as well. But Getaway Car, just the whole thing, Jack being there was so superior. And I was there, and Death by a Thousand Cuts is from Lover and Getaway Car is from Rep. There's also a lot going on with Reputation at this point, because we didn't know if she was going to announce it. She didn't, but the fact that she played a Rep song, kind of insane. The whole thing was just kind of insane.
It was nuts.
And I just love Death by a Thousand Cuts as a song, because it does, the lyrics and the sound are so different. Saying goodbye is Death by a Thousand Cuts, like, that's well said. And then she's like, diddle with a little guitar. And it reminds me of driving my car.
I associate that song with you as well.
Thank you.
I'll let you know that isn't in my top 10.
That's okay.
But I knew it was going to be in your top 10.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's fine, it'll be mentioned at some point. Okay, my number 5. Originally I was like, I'm going to put this higher up. But then I went, no. So it's where it is. And it's because it's just 2 of my favourite songs. 2 of my favourite albums. It's My Boy Only Breaks His Favourite Toy mashed up with Coney Island.
Yeah, fair play.
Which we saw live, not together. Shout out to Hannah and my mum. On Saturday night 6.
Yeah, night 6.
Night 6, Saturday at Wembley. My Boy's from Torch Poets. Coney Island's from Evermore. I've wrote in my notes, I'm still fathoming this one. It beats number 6 because of the 2 songs used and how much I love those 2 songs separately. So I've wrote the referencing of playing also just My Boy Breaks Favorite Toys on the piano is just so heartbreaking. Yeah. And I love a sad song.
Yeah.
I love a sad song. I love a sad song by Taylor Swift specifically. I wrote the referencing of playing with toys in Coney Island is a fairground is associating playing with kids to me.
Ah, yes.
So I was like, it's all very childlike.
Yeah.
And reminiscing. There's like in the middle of the songs, she's reminiscing of just the different times and how it was maybe a bit better. In Coney Island, I feel like I wrote Coney Island breakdown about being undervalued. She wonders if she pushed too hard and if he really was trying, and it's like a failure to appreciate your partner and taking them for granted over time leads to the demise of the relationship.
Oh my god, come on. What did I say?
And then she's like, because in that song she's like, sorry for not making you my centerfold.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry that I never put you first in my books. But then he never maybe did the same to her. So it's not like either one of them was bad, but it was just together.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I'm sitting on a bench in Coney Island. And that's with The National.
Yes.
Featured on that song. Not live, not in this, but
No.
like the actual song and Evermore's got The National featured.
Yeah.
Will you waiting?
And around this
Oh my
time was
God.
when we got the vocal demo of
My Boy. Yeah, that's
the lyric.
Oh, yeah,
He
because
was my best friend, and that was the
worst
part.
Oh,
That
it's so sad.
so sad.
But yeah, I just love anything. I love a sad song on the piano. I should probably listen to Adele more. I do like Adele, but I just listen to Taylor Swift. I listen to other people as well, but just maybe we should explain in another episode why we love her so much. Because we've not even said why.
I think people get it. The people get it.
The people get it. Right, what's
Right,
number 4?
My number 4 is Long Live and Change from London Night 7. So, this was just...
What a night.
What a night.
night.
London Night 7, I've got other things to say about that.
It will go down as the best day of my life.
Literally. It was
like one of the best
whole
days of my life.
experience. Again, we'll talk about that in another episode, but...
We don't even mean just Taylor Swift, we mean just like the whole experience.
Yeah, the whole thing was incredible. And then that woman just starts playing Long Live. And she set it off, right, for context as well. Long Live is like the song that Taylor has always said that she associates with her fans. So it's like a big one. I feel like everyone within the Swiftie community loves Long Live. Like, you kind of don't have a choice. And it's also an amazing song. And it's very fairy tale. Like you said, Speak Now is all very fairy tale-y.
Can I butt in just really quickly?
Can. Go.
It's that and You're On Your Own, Kids.
Yes.
Are 2 songs that celebrate kind of being a Taylor Swift fan.
Yes. Yes, that is exactly what they do.
And that's what makes it anyway. That's what I have to say.
And it wasn't on the set list originally, and then she released Speak Now Taylor's version, it got put on the set list, and then when she added Tortured Poets, it got taken off the set list again.
Got cut.
Which was devastating for everyone involved. But she played it while we were there, and she started it off by being like, I've never played this song live before, which, to change, she hadn't. But then, normally she says that, and she starts with the song she's not played, but she then started with Long Live. I still remember this moment.
And we're like, yes, we all remember this moment.
Yes. And it was just... I think that the reason that was so magical is because I just wanted it so bad. Like, I wanted to hear Long Live.
Yeah.
And no matter when I heard it, I wanted to hear Long Live. And that was magical. And then she mashed it up with Change from Fearless, which was a bit of a rogue one. Like, I didn't expect
My worst
that.
nightmare.
But they also got the lights wrong in the arena. So we were like, what song is it? Because it takes me a second. And the lights went green for debut. Well, greeny blue, whatever colour it was. They didn't go yellow to say it was Fearless. So I was like, huh? And then it got to the chorus. I was like, oh, it's Change.
And that's, sorry, I'm butting you again. But there's a fear with surprise songs that you don't know what the words are. But also that you're singing them. And you don't quite know what you're singing.
Can't figure out what the song is.
You know it, you're singing it, but you're like, what the fuck am I singing?
But it's also quite sad, the fact that she mashed these songs up together. Because Long Live is like, Long Live the memories we made.
Like the legacy of it all.
And then Change is like, but these things will change. And
it won't be like this forever.
Yeah. Which is so sad, even though it will. Like, but I think she's aware that the Eras Tour is such a moment in her career.
Yeah. That
things are going to change after it. But yeah, I also had a gut feeling that I was going to get changed as one of my surprise songs. And not in the sense that I was like desperate for it. It would come on and I'd be like, I feel it happening. You see it now. it's a good song. But yeah, so that is my number 4 from London Night 7.
My number 4 is from, I can't remember, you'll have to remind me where this was again. I think it was Liverpool. Is Manuscript Mashed Up Red.
Liverpool 93.
Is that higher up in your ranking?
No, it didn't make it, but
Really?
it really nearly did. It really nearly did.
So I put it at 4, and I thought it'd be lower in my list because I've not necessarily. So Manuscripts from Torture Poets. Red is from the self-titled Red album. The colour.
The colour title.
The colour red. I'll just read out my notes. It makes me. It's because I would have put it lower down because other songs lower down on my list I listen to more than these 2 songs.
Yeah.
However, I feel like for the context of Taylor's life, it was quite a powerful mashup. Yes. So I wrote, it makes me go, aw, probably shouldn't be higher up. They blend so well. So articulate. The Manuscript is the very last song on the Torture Poets anthology. Mm-hmm. We'll explain about the double album a different time. So this is basically like the last song that we've got of hers so far. Yes. And basically, from my understanding, is the footprint of all her past relationships. Yeah. Or her just talking about, like, what maybe her love life has done for her. Yeah, I would agree on that. And also, I think, really speaks about Red, because a bit in the song where she's like, the actors were at their marks. Yes. The cameras were ready. The All Too Well short film. And Red is basically about... I'm going to assume the full album's about Jake Gyllenhaal or mostly about him. Yes. And that's what All Too Well is about. But anyway, I'm not going into that. So I wrote the Manuscript's basically like this footprint, and it's like a reflective book, a literal book. It's a manuscript. Yeah. And then she goes into flashbacks and echoes, remind myself to let it go. And that's a line from the Red song. So, but she's like writing and releasing it, whether that's as a song or as a short film. So all these memories. It's time now. Like, she makes her art to let it go. Like, that's just who she is as an artist. And people go, oh, honestly, I'm going to go into a rant now. People are like, oh, Taylor Swift only writes about, like, exes and stuff like that. I'm sorry, but so many people do. Yeah. But also, like, Van Gogh. Or, like...
Where are you going with this? That's so bad.
He doesn't write... He was a bad example. He's right about Texas. But I'm saying, like, artists, my point with Van Gogh, he's got a distinct style. Yeah. So do, like, other artists, they have, like, and they all sound the same because it's her bloody voice on the track. Yeah. All these podcasts sound the same because it's us two speaking. Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, give her a break. And she doesn't. Like, you can see... We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to... no. Anyway, move.
No, I agree. All of her songs don't sound the same. People are bullshit.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, number 3.
Number 3, you're going to hate me. The Archer, You're on Your Own Kid from London 97.
We all know where that's going to go. Yeah. Wherever that is for me.
That was another moment that was just insane.
Oh my god, the context of it.
Oh my god.
I think I held myself quite well.
Pardon?
I think I held myself quite well.
I think you did.
Because I saw the Exile girl, you know that video online where she's like, ah! Oh, that is me. Yeah.
I just put my foot in the wet. Sorry. Yeah, The Archer, You're on Your Own Kid. The Archer from Lover, You're on Your Own Kid from Midnight. As Jen said, You're on Your Own Kid is like Long Live. It's like a song about being a Swiftie. Like, it's not. She doesn't sit there and go, if you're a fan of Taylor Swift, this is what it's like.
But it's girlhood. Yes. And that's what a lot of Swifties, not to generalise it, because there'll be people of all, like, walks of life that like her. But just, she has the epitome of, like, girlhood, I think.
And it also has the lyric about make the friendship bracelets, which started the whole thing about making friendship bracelets for the Eras tour. Like, it's a very monumental song. They are also both track 5s, which in Taylor's discography...
Didn't think of that.
Track 5 for her is like the most personal / like It's like her song.
Yeah, most like Vulnerable. I
Yeah.
think, the song. What's she's made it anyway.
So they're just two blows, one after the other, unexpected blows. Yeah, I don't have much to say other than it was just absolutely incredible, and you'll have a lot to say, so I'll let you say it when we get there.
Okay, my number 3 is The Great War, mashed up with You're Losing Me.
Yeah, fair.
That you had said earlier, from Liverpool. I'm just gonna write. I'm not gonna write. I'm gonna say what I've wrote down.
Yeah.
She'd been fighting for this relationship and even fighting together. I think both of them surviving the trials and the tribulations for it just to end up losing her. And both songs, she has references to soldiers.
Yes.
Which obviously relates to a war. But, like, Losing Me, she says, like, bravest soldier.
Yeah.
Fighting in only your armies. Front lines, don't you ignore me. Sing at this party. And then The Great War is obviously self-explanatory. And then just the outro when she mashed them up together. She's like, I can't find a pulse anymore if I survived the Great War. I vowed not to cry anymore if I survived the Great War.
Oh.
And she just took, rather than, what's good about songs like that or like the outros is mostly her mashups. She'll sing a big chunk of one song and then sing the next chunk of another.
Yes.
So like the outro, she's been taking just a line from each song.
Yeah.
And then doing one from this one from that one, going back to that one, going back to that one. So yeah, I just thought everything you said, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
those
a
non-Swifties.
What? You get it, don't you?
you understand. You know what I mean. And she sang the bridge of You're Losing Me, which is such a win.
Yeah.
Because she's not always also in her breakup songs or breaking up, whatever it is, life, relationships. She's not, like, putting the other person on blast. She holds herself accountable.
Yes.
So, like, in the bridge, she says, I wouldn't marry me either, a pathological people pleaser.
Oh.
How many people admit, like, their wrongdoings and their insecurities and their baggage?
And to the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing admitting it to one person, but...
Oh, You're Losing Me, such a good song.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's number 2?
My number 2 is 1989 mashup from London Night 3. Because that was... So that's Is It Over Now, Out of the Woods, and Clean.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just the most offensive thing she's ever done. And I'm 1989 girly. I'm many other girlies, but I love 1989 a lot. It's one of my favourite albums ever. And one of my favourite Taylor Swift albums. And just, like you said, you knew with Out of the Woods and Is It Over Now that they were coming. But then, as soon as she started playing Clean, it was again, like, Clean has always been one of my favourite Taylor songs.
It's a really powerful song.
Yeah, it's a very powerful song. But I just kind of... I think you associate it with certain parts in your life, so I'd kind of, like, moved past that part of my life where I listened to Clean a lot.
Yeah.
So, for her to just dig that up, not that it had been put away, but I was so unwell, and that's the one that I'm like, oh my god, she played Clean. Like, I can't get over that happening while I was there.
That was a lot.
She played Clean. Also, just the fact that it was a 1989 mashup, the fact that it was 3 songs.
Yeah.
Like...
She hardly does 3 songs.
Yeah.
You thought it was over.
Yeah.
See what I did there.
But then, no, she goes into Clean, which was just insane. And I can't get past it.
No.
Gone was any trace of you, but
I think I have finally clean.
Rain.
Kelly Clarkson is a really good cover of that.
Slay,
so if you don't like Taylor Swift for whatever reason, don't know why you're listening to my podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I care for all people that like all different things. But if you don't want to listen to Taylor's version of it, listen to Kelly Clarkson's version of it.
What's your number 2, Jen?
So mine's Tis the Damn Season mashed up with
fair play.
From Edinburgh because I was there. Oh my god, I would die if she did an All Too Well mashup. Anyway, I was there, so this is why it's in my in my top 2 because I was there, and I can't tell you what it was like to experience that. I was also with one of my best friends. Shout out to Amber. And this is, I associate 'Tis the Damn Season as our song, because when I was in college, I would listen to Evermore non-stop, specifically Gold Rush and 'Tis the Damn Season. And via osmosis through the bedroom wall, Amber had to listen to these too, because we lived together. So they became like our song. And I remember in the flat, we were talking about surprise songs, and I was like, oh, I think she'll do this. Not thinking it'd be any of the songs that we liked together. And I was like, oh, it'd be funny. I think I might have mentioned Gold Rush. I don't know if I mentioned 'Tis the Damn Season. But I was like, oh, well, I don't think she'll play this, but imagine she did. And then she was like, if I wanted to know who you were hanging with. I just grabbed it. I was like, she's playing 'Tis the Damn Season. So it felt special in the context of like one of my favourite songs with one of my best friends. We were there together. And then she had the audacity to mash it up with Daylight. And everything like you said, just like this setting in Edinburgh, because we were quite high up. We could see like the top of the roof, so we could see the Edinburgh, like the hills past it, and like some of the skyline. And just, it was like dusk, like daylight was ending. It was still bright, but it was ending. And the point in which she mashed it up, she was doing like whatever bit she was in 'Tis the Damn Season, to then go into Daylight with the line, I don't want to look at anything else now that I saw you. Again, plug, I can sing better. It's just such like a beautiful line, and just the way she sang it on the piano, the wind and all our like faces and hair. And I was like, I'm so sorry, Lauren Ryder. I've wrote in my notes, I was there, and I can't even describe how beautiful it was in the moment. She sounded so beautiful singing that line. And it's the idea of the theme of 'Tis the Damn Season is like made up story. Like Evermore and Folklore are all made up stories. Of returning home and being with the same person each time you're returning home. And describing that even though the relationship was short term, she was still like head over heels and saying like, you were it for me. Like I didn't want to look at anything else other than you, even though it wasn't like a long term thing. And then she says, and I can still see it all in my mind, like when I go back to wherever I'm going, each time I go home it's like golden. So sorry, that's what I have to say. They're just two of my favourite songs, and I was there. Oh, the wind. Right, what's your number one?
Cool, my iPad's just died, but my number one is State of Grace and You're on Your Own Kid from, I think it was Dublin Night 1. That's so offensive, Taylor Swift. I very lucky for the amount of times I saw Taylor Swift, but I was really hoping for a song from Red, because it is my favourite album.
You were. Which
didn't happen, but I was so blessed in so many other ways. But this was after, I'm pretty sure it was the first show after London, the first weekend she did in London. So it was the next show on from the show I went to see, and she started playing State of Grace, and I thought, Taylor Swift.
Is that on the guitar?
Yes.
Is that the first time she did You're on Your Own Kid on the guitar?
I think maybe.
There's significance to these instruments.
There is. But it was just, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy to me that she did that. I also think like State of Grace is one of her best written songs ever, and I think it's kind of an overview. I see it as an overview of everything that she talks about in Red. Yeah. As an album. And I think You're on Your Own Kid is kind of just an overview of everything.
Of life, yeah.
Yeah, I think they both, because I know a lot of people have said like, oh, she touches on each album in the bridge of You're on Your Own Kid, which I don't know if I believe she's done that intentionally, but it's kind of, they're both quite overviewy songs, and the fact that she mashed them up together, offensive, man.
So offensive.
And State of Grace just, oh my god,
it's such a good
one
song.
of the best songs ever. Yeah, I can't remember how she mashed it up, but I just remember, I remember exactly where I was. Me and Danny were on holiday, and I was sat in the bed, and I was like, no! And Danny was like, yeah, but we've just seen her, we were so lucky. And I was like, yes, we were. But State of Grace. So that is my number one, because that is the one that I would have, I wouldn't have made it out alive if she'd have played it while I was there.
Oh,
wonder when your number one is, Jennifer Bruce.
Number one. It's the Archer mashed up You're on Your Own Kid. And I could cry thinking about it. The minute she said the word combat, I could not believe it.
No.
I could not believe it. Which if you listen to podcast episode 1, you'll have learned that's my favourite song of all time. So I felt personally victimised. Like, what were the chances? I mean, me and Lauren attending was all very calculated.
It was.
It was deeply thought out. But the chances of her singing that while I was there, and it's not a song she would repeat. It used to be on the set list, but then got cut when she added Torture Poets. Cry in the club, which I'm surprised she even put on the set list originally.
Yeah, me too. So then I was surprised when she took it off, because I was like, okay, you clearly wanted it on the set.
Yeah.
So.
And then she had recently done it. She'd mashed it up with Question
She
in
had.
Europe. So I was like, I'm not going to get it. She's not going to do it again. And she did. And I feel like there's like this aesthetic thing of like mirrorball girlies.
Yeah.
And this is me trying girlies. And they're like girls. I don't even know how to describe it. Just
the girlies, the gifted and talented.
Deeply emotional.
Yeah.
Maybe longing for something more, wish to be seen.
Yes.
All that kind of stuff. It's a vibe. I feel like I fall into that category. And then she, like, mashed up You're on Your Own, Kids, which I don't even know what to say. I'm being honest about what to say. What have I wrote? Personally victimised by the song, my favourite song of all time, the audacity to mash it up with one for the anxiety mirrorball girlies.
Yeah.
Explain to those who don't understand. I don't know what I meant to explain to you listeners, but yeah. And then she just, I don't know. It's just that thing of like, she wants people. So in like the anxiety song of The Archer, just like, they see right through me. Who can you see right through me? Like, who can be there for me? Like, all these things.
Yes.
Like, who's going to be that person to support me or whatever. And then she goes, you've been on your own this entire time.
Yeah.
You're on your own, kids, and like, you can do it. It's fine. You don't need anyone else. Like, you've got it.
This.
You always have been.
I also think one of the best moments of my life was singing "So May the Friendship Brace," like the bridge of You're on Your Own, Kid, with everyone there.
Oh. And just, I thought, who will get me and understand me, and at the end of the day it'll only ever be myself in some way.
That's so true.
I can't believe she sang that when we
I
were
can't
there.
believe she sang
Because we also said this when we talk about that night.
Yeah, well,
I had said to like a girl, because we were like, oh, what do you think she's going to do surprise song wise? And I was like, oh, I love The Archer, but I don't think she'll play it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god.
And that girlie wanted You're on Your Own, Kid.
She did. She had a tattoo on her.
She did.
Or she had a mirrorball tattoo on her.
I think she maybe had, or maybe both.
She's one of those girls. She's one of those girlies. Okay. We need to do our overall best night.
I think it might be the same.
I don't know if it is.
Okay, then maybe it's not.
Because so my overall best night, I purposely didn't put those two songs into my top 10.
Oh, I did.
Because I just didn't know what to do. And I don't agree with this.
I have a quick look at if there's another...
Sorry, podcast listeners.
Sorry,
I hope you're for a long walk.
You go.
So, my best overall night.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily I wish I was there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I agree with anything that... Can I just say this episode? I don't know if I agree with anything that I've said.
Neither do I.
My best overall night is Edinburgh Night 2, which is the Bolter getaway car, and then all the girls mashed up with Crazier.
Yes.
So I feel like if you get getaway car and you're not expecting it, it is a win.
It is a win.
It is a win. And I thought On the Guitar is a very sing-along evening, and because Torture Poets had not long came out, like it's maybe not even 2 months, you want a Torture Poet song, like you said, the Bolter. We were all waiting for it, and she mashed it up. Perfect to smash up. And I feel like all the girls you've loved before, I don't really listen to. So, out of the 4 that's here, it's fine. But I think to receive Crazier from the Hannah Montana movie is so healing to all of us. Because I would freaking go to a Hannah Montana concert. When you went to the Ears tour, it felt like the Hannah Montana concert.
It really did.
Like the start of the Hannah Montana movie, where she can't even get into her own concert and all these girls running about and having so much fun. That's what it felt like. And I think loads of us who love Taylor Swift grew up with her and like Hannah Montana, like Miley Cyrus. And also the fact she sang it in Edinburgh, I felt, even though I wasn't there, it was quite special. She did that in Scotland. And I think this is me trying to decipher the meaning of the mashups as well.
This is me trying to decipher.
This is me trying. The mashup on the piano of all the girls in Crazier, She's thanking all the girls that have made him maybe like a better person, or like all these bad experiences he's learned and he's shaped. Not saying that they changed him or fixed him, but he's learned from that, and she loves him more for that. So she's even crazier about him because she loves him even more. And then what have I said about the bolter? Oh, what you said. She's jet set, Bonnie and Clyde. She's off. Yeah. She's bolting out of there just like them.
She is.
And it might not end well. But yeah, that was my...
Sorry, I love that song.
That was my overall night. I think I had picked something differently originally.
Yeah.
I thought about the Liverpool, This Is What You Came For, Losing Me night. Yeah. It was a top contender.
That is a top contender.
Anyway, what's yours?
Right, so initially I had written down London Night 7, but that was also like my number 2 and 3. So, just a first glance, I'm going to go with Edinburgh Night 3, which is It's Nice to Have a Friend in Dorothea, and then Haunted in Exile. Because I missed Haunted in Exile off my top 10. So that's illegal for all the reasons that Jen said. And then Dorothea is one of my favourite songs from Evermore.
Yeah.
There's just something so... Everton? Evermore as an album is so comforting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so lovely. And I just think Dorothea... Like, everyone has a Dorothea. Like, that one friend that you're like... You don't know, but you'll always know me. Like, you can always rely on them. You can always go back to them. And, like, I think it's very, like, a home away from home situation with that. And it's nice to have a friend from Lover. It's not one that I'm massively fond of. Like, it's not my favourite from Lover at all. But it is nice to have a friend. You're so true, Taylor Swift. Nice. And it's just, like, friendship theme. Although, it's nice to have a friend. It's nice to have a friend.
School bell.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah, that would be the one, again, that out of those 4 would be my least. But the other 3 are so top tier that I think that would take it up to my honourable mention night in Edinburgh.
Yeah. And a lot of... There were so many other good songs that didn't make the list.
So many.
Like, we didn't even... She brought out Ed Sheeran. She brought out Stacey Abrams. But none of that mattered because we just watched Taylor Swift.
Well, also, and Gracie wasn't a... Because she did do I Did Something Bad one night, but...
She did, but it's not a mashup.
It's not a mashup.
Yep.
Yeah, the Ed Sheeran night, I did consider that for a second as well, but...
Yeah.
Thinking that out loud. Crazy. Anyway.
So, for our non-Swiftie listeners, I hope you understood anything.
Yeah, and enjoyed it.
Or it makes you intrigued to find out one of those songs.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode.
We enjoyed filming it.
And the Swifties that listen, you get it.
You get it, girl. Tell us what your favourite night was.
Tell us what your favourite night was.
From UK and Ireland.
From UK and Ireland, shout out to Dublin. And Wales.
And Wales.
I can't believe how many nights you did in, like, Edinburgh.
I know.
And Liverpool.
Yeah.
And London.
Just one night in Cardiff.
One night in Cardiff. Oh. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. See you on the next day.
Come back. Be here.